Job's done. Well, hello fellow nerds, and welcome to another video. Now this is going to be a simple video for some people that may just be picking up Fury Warrior for the first time. I'm going to go over some of the basics that you should know and understand in playing a Fury Warrior. Now, before I get going into the rotation and setup and everything, one thing that I would suggest to anybody that does play this game, as you can see at the bottom of my screen, make sure that you have your extra action bars set and available and bound to keys that you're comfortable with using, because as a player, whether you're doing PvP or if you're doing raiding or anything really in the game other than questing, of course, you should have all of your abilities bound to at least something, so you don't have to actually click on it, because clicking on things takes away the attention from your eyes on what's actually happening, so you are more prone to actually like dying or standing and stuff and just doing wrong things. And overall, with the flow of actually being a better player, having this set up is really going to help you. So getting into it, I'm going to use my charge, and what charge does is it actually ends up building rage for you. Now rage is your main resource of energy to use through your offensive abilities. Now let's go ahead and do that. Boom, see? And now the first thing that you need to know as a Fury Warrior to build up rage, your one ability to build up rage other than your auto attacks, is your Bloodthirst. And I'm going to hit that and then we'll see what happens. Alright, you see that? I have procs of my Raging Blow, which I'm going to use, and then procs of my Wild Strikes. Two of those, use that. And also another thing to mention, your rage spenders is Raging Blow, but you have to crit with your Bloodthirst first, before you can actually use Raging Blow, because I'm going to try to use it and I can't do it yet. But I can use my Wild Strikes. It doesn't hit very hard, but I'm going to use my Bloodthirst again and see if it crits. And it does. So once it crits, I become enraged and increases the damage that I deal by an additional 15%. So before you actually use your offensive abilities, your Wild Strike or your Raging Blow, you want to be enraged, and that increases your damage done. I'm going to use as many Wild Strikes as I possibly can until it expires or run out of rage. I just got enraged again because my crit chance is really high. Okay. And also you can see another ability that I have, which is Whirlwind. Now for Fury specifically, you do not want to be using Whirlwind unless you have multiple targets up. And what Whirlwind does is once you cast it, it increases the number of targets hit by Raging Blow by 2. So I'm going to cast that again, and then went up to 4 after casting it a second time. And it's going to hit that target over there, which is a tanking dummy, and I don't want to touch that because it's going to kill me. So just going to go through the rotation a little bit. Well, that's simply the rotation. And another thing that will happen throughout the course of your rotation, killing a boss or killing mobs, you will get Execute. You can use it below 20% health, and also do not use that unless you are enraged, otherwise it is a huge waste of spending rage. Okay, let's back up a little bit and then let's start going over some talent choices. Right now, currently, I have Furious Strikes, and what that does is it reduces the rage cost of your Wild Strike ability by 25 rage. Now this is heavily important because of the gear that I have on my warrior right now. I have the 4 set And then the fourth set, while your wild strike critical strikes reduce the cooldown of recklessness by 30 seconds. So that's each time that the wild strike crits, it reduces the recklessness. Now what recklessness is grants you special attacks an additional 30% chance to critically strike and increase your critical strike damage by 10%, while lasts for 10 seconds, the whole duration of that. And using this ability in defensive stance activates battle stance. So if I click my recklessness, I'm pretty much going to be critting 100% of the time, very close to 100% of the time. Let's go ahead and just cast it, and you'll see. And as you can see right now, my recklessness has come up at least a couple times just while doing that rotation. It's supposed to be a 3-minute cooldown, but it's kind of insane if you have your Furious Strikes talent picked. Although you can use Sudden Death. Unquenchable Thirst, at least this late in the expansion, is pretty much useless unless you're doing PvP and have some weird setup. So Sudden Death I really like a lot, especially in PvP, because I can automatically choose to become enraged with my Berserker Rage. That automatically makes you enraged and gives you 1 proc of Raging Blow. Now, next talent choice, I use Dragon Roar mostly because, well, it doesn't do a lot of damage actually single target. Your single target choice would be Stormbolt, but in most situations, especially in Hellfire Citadel, you're going to have more than just 1 target to hit, so I use Dragon Roar most often. But if it is single target, I use Stormbolt and Bloodbath here. And as you can see, I have Blade Storm chosen as an offensive talent, and that's probably going to be what I'm choosing 90% of the time, unless I have a consistent amount of single target damage that I need to be putting out, and then I'll be using Bloodbath. But I am also kind of nerdy, and I really like to kind of feel the fantasy of playing a warrior, so I keep Blade Storm even if it's strictly single target, and my DPS might suffer a little bit, but that's me, so whatever. GTFO. So the next really huge point that I want to make is I actually have not used Ravager at all in this expansion. I really like the talent, it's a really cool idea, but anger management has proven to be way more useful to me than anything. And Siegebreaker for maybe single target burst situations, but anger management, what that does is every 30 rage that you spend reduces the remaining cooldown of several of your abilities by 1 second. And now that includes Avatar, that's a talent, Bloodbath, that's a talent, Blade Storm, that's a talent, same with Stormbolt, Shockwave, Dragon Roar, Mocking Banner. We don't really get that, is Fury. That's only protection warrior, and then it also reduces your recklessness as well. So I not only have my 4-set reducing my recklessness time, but also spending rage reduces the recklessness timer. And then Die by the Sword, which is also another, it's a defensive ability, and that increases your parry chance by 100%. So if you have some mob hitting you with melee attacks, you're going to be parrying all of that crap, and reduces the damage you take by 30% for 8 seconds. So that's also useful, using that against casters or something that can actually avoid getting parried by Frostbolt or Lava Burst or that type of thing. That pretty much sums this up, at least on the offensive side. I can go further into detail on defensives for another video, but I'll briefly go over some that I have set on my bar. Rallying Cry, it temporarily grants you and all party or raid members within 30 yards 15% increase to maximum health for 10 seconds. So it increases your health by 15% for the 10 seconds, and it's very useful when you have raid-wide damage incoming, or that type of thing. And Heroic Leap, holy crap, I love this ability. I can't wait until Legion, because a lot of the animations are going to be, they have been improved, and I'm super nerdly super excited about those. So Vigilance, I kind of suck because I don't use this very often, but you protect a party or raid member for 12 seconds, reducing the damage they take by 30% and allowing you to use taunt with no cooldown. That can be used in a PvP situation. If I try to use this like on a raid boss, I'm most likely going to die, and same with Intervene. Although with Intervene, if you use that on a friendly target, you can pretty much charge to that friendly target. So I like to use it with racing back to the boss after wipe or something along those lines. And Piercing Howl, it snares all enemies within 15 yards, reducing their movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. Now, this one to me is more useful. It costs 10 rage, right? Hamstring, it is only specific to one target, and you have to be in range of that target to reduce its moving speed, and it does the exact same thing, although Piercing Howl has a range of 15 yards, and it does the same amount of slowing in the same amount of time. So this is why I don't have Hamstring on my bars. It's pretty much useless. And then Intimidating Shout, which it acts as if it were a fear for warriors, which is really nice. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the video. Now that concludes this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, or if you want to give me a thumbs up on the video, if you found it helpful, feel free to do so. I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you want to throw out any suggestions for a new video, feel free to do that. And thank you, and have a great day.